death of a scheduled caste student at IIT Bombay, the second recent such case at an IIT. The question is this: is there systemic discrimination, as has been alleged, or does this not have to do with caste at all? Well, joining us now, we are joined by a student from IIT Bombay. We are not going to be identifying the student at all, and we would like to thank you very much for actually being with us. We're also joined by Dr. Gita Bhatt. But to the student first, do you believe that in this case the student in question was tortured, or there was some sort of discrimination against him?
Yeah, so basically, to understand that, you need to understand the way caste discrimination happens in IIT. It doesn't happen outrightly in the way it happens in rural areas, because untouchability in itself has taken a modern form here. So even to understand this, like in 2014, we had another student named Aniket Ampore who had committed suicide, and his parents had told that, like after his suicide, that he always mentioned that he wanted to write JEE exam once again as a general category candidate, because the atmosphere of IIT was making him feel worthless, because as if like you don't deserve to be a part of IIT Bombay, you are not meritorious enough. And similarly, Darshan also told his family how, after knowing his rank, which is a marker of category, other students have stopped interacting with him. Like they are not talking to him as much. They are not how they used to behave before. There's a change that he sensed, and that is alienation. And this is how modern casteism works inside IITs.
But tell me this: when was it restricted to this sort of discrimination, or were there specific ways in which Darshan was targeted, perhaps physically, perhaps through fights, perhaps through direct verbal abuse, or was it pressure which built up on him, which you believe resulted in what happened?
So we don't exactly know what kind of discrimination he had suffered, the particular form, whether it's physical, but from what the statement that his sister gave, how it's everyday taunts, right? Like how when the others found out that he has a student who is getting scholarship, who doesn't have to pay as high a tuition fee as the others, there is this jealousy that, like, how is this a guy who is coming from a
So you
SC
don't
background.
believe what IIT has said, that there was no such caste discrimination which was the cause of this death? You don't believe that?
No, we don't believe it at all. See, the same thing. When similar to Darshan, Aniket's parents said that they need an investigation on the caste discrimination in 2014, and IIT formed a committee to do it. And the committee recommended that they should conduct caste sensitization. The atmosphere of IIT is not safe for SC/ST students. They should have mentorship programs, academic support, and mental health support for SC/ST students. In 2015 and till 2022, none of the recommendations were implemented for 8 years. Even after repeatedly, we kept on telling them. And more recently, last year, when we came to know that the counselors in IIT are passing out anti-reservation remarks, we complained to the institute that they should hire SC/ST counselors to take care of the mental health, to be there as mental health support for students. They didn't listen to us. So we had to go to the national commissions, and NCST 2 weeks back has pulled out IIT director and asked him explanations for why there is no SC/ST counselors and SC/ST mental health support system in IIT. And then this happens now. If they had taken and implemented the recommendations of their own committee, or listened to our complaints, we could have saved his life.
All right.
So that is why we call it institutional murder.
Okay,
because
just one second. Let me get
Gita.
Gitaji to respond. Gitaji, 2 student suicides, deaths at IIMs Bombay, IIT Bombay and IIT Madras in 24 hours. And you've heard what this student says, and it's taken a great deal of courage for him to actually come and talk about this. Do you believe this is a systemic issue that we face?
Well, Vishnuji, it's very unfortunate actually to know that, such a young, bright child, he is no more today. But you see, if you look at it, in terms of how institutions work, then I think I can say that every quality education and research institution it works to ensure that there is a safe and secure and cohesive learning environment for the students. And there are university grants commission guidelines which very clearly state whether it is in terms of ragging or whether it is in terms of providing safety of the student, that there should be ordinances and statutory provisions in every university and in every institution, professional institution, to ensure the safety of the students. So if you look at it, UGC had also, in 2012 UGC regulation, it talks about the provision and promotion of equity in higher education institutions, where all the stakeholders they have to strictly follow it in letter and spirit, and any kind of discrimination, whether it is in terms of caste or religion or gender, it is strictly prohibited.
No, but Gita ji, the key point, and this is what
yes,
the family also,
yeah.
Let me ask you this, Gita ji, it's the issue of some students are paying versus some who are not, who've entered through a quota, and
right.
The discrimination which stems from how some students are perceived to be benefiting from the quota system. Quota system is intrinsic to, for right or for wrong, into our education system and colleges and above. But the point is that, do you not see this as being an area of real concern in terms of creating a divide between students even when they are in institutions, for example over here, IIT Bombay?
Well, as I can understand, from the reports that because of this reason, even the score of the JEE score as well as the caste of the students, it is not per se informed in the lists which are prepared by the IITs. But nevertheless, it is something, there is an investigation going on. So whether the reasons or the allegations that have come up, that only with time we will come to know whether they really existed. But yes, we do realize, we see that that there is those who are coming from those who are taking the reservation quota. It is, what is important is that there needs to be a sensitization where the other students have to understand that they do not come from that kind of environment. They do not have so many opportunities to learn, to be able to put together on the same competitive platform. And that is why time and again equity comes into picture. So, the institutions, they need to have the student counseling systems where such kind of sensitization is not only for those students who are from a particular category, but for all students. There needs to be certain workshops where this kind of sensitization can be brought. I think if you look at a larger picture, yes, an investigation, a thorough investigation, where there could be outside agencies also involved, needs to be done look into this unfortunate incident, whether at IIT Mumbai or at IIT Madras.
Look, I'd like to.
But
thank
at the same time,
sure,
if you look at cohesively, it is important that.
By all means, ma'am, I'm just interrupting you now because just a little while back, I was able to actually speak to Janvi Darshan's sister, and I asked her specific questions about whether he was complaining about caste discrimination, whether there was torture, whether there was anything at all. Here's what she told me.
लाइक ऐसे पर्टिकुलरली तो हमें नहीं बताया था कि ये बहुत बड़ा कंसर्न है कि इसकी वजह से मैं यहाँ आईआईटी पे नहीं पढ़ पाऊंगा, लेकिन जब हम पूछते थे कि दर्शन यहाँ वहाँ कैसा एनवायरनमेंट है, कैसा बिहेवियर है, कैसे फ्रेंड्स है वहाँ पे, कैसा कल्चर है, तो ऐसे नॉर्मली बोलता था कि हाँ यहाँ पे सब अच्छा है, नॉर्मल बिहेवियर है सबका, फ्रेंड सर्कल बहुत अच्छा है, प्रोफेसर अच्छे है, एनवायरनमेंट बहुत अच्छा है, कल्चर भी बहुत अच्छा है, तो ऐसे नॉर्मली बातें करता रहता था। लेकिन जब वो प्रेशर से पूछे कि तू सच बोल रहा है, तू जो भी है, जो भी कोई गलत कुछ भी हो रहा है, कुछ भी गलत हो रहा है या फिर तुझे कंफर्टेबल नहीं हो रहा है, तो तू खुल के बता दे कि कुछ भी ऐसा हो रहा है कि तुझे अच्छा नहीं लग रहा तो तू शेयर कर सकता है, हम ऐसा बोलते थे उससे। तो कभी कभी वो कैजुअल ऐसा बोल दिया करता था कि लाइक हम SC/ST से बिलोंग करते हैं तो कुछ स्टूडेंट्स को ऐसा अच्छा नहीं लगता था कि हम फ्री में क्यों पढ़ते हैं, हम फ्री में आगे आ जाते हैं फ्री में पढ़ के, और वो लोग पैसे देके भी आगे नहीं आ पाते। हमारी सीट ना, वो लोग ऐसा बोलते थे कि उन लोगों की सीट हमने रोक के रखी हुई है। तो हम निचली जाति से हम बिलोंग करते थे, तो ये उनको अच्छा नहीं लगता था कि हम निचली जाति से बिलोंग करते हैं, तो ये लोग इतने बड़े इंस्टीट्यूट में क्यों दाखिला मिल रहा है इन लोगों को।
जानवी, दर्शन ने कभी आपसे जब बात किया था, उसने कभी कुछ लड़ाई झगड़ा या टॉर्चर के बारे में कुछ कहा था?
लड़ाई झगड़ा नहीं, लाइक उनको छोटे छोटे, मेरे भाई को ना जब भी कोई हेल्प मेरा भाई मांगता था, स्टडी रिलेटेड हेल्प हो या फिर कोई भी नॉर्मली कोई चीज होती है या फिर कोई भी ऐसे छोटी छोटी बातों पे हेल्प मांगता था, तो लाइक छोटी छोटी कमेंट करते रहते थे, तो मेरे भाई को ऐसा टॉर्चर फील होता था। वो टॉर्चर तो करते ही थे, लाइक कभी भी कोई लैपटॉप में या फिर कुछ उसे पता नहीं चल रहा होता कि इसका क्या करना है, ये कैसे होता है ये टेक्नोलॉजी, या फिर व्हाट्सएप कैसे चलाते हैं, तो उसको ये ज्यादातर पता नहीं रहता था। तो वो पूछता था अपने फ्रेंड से, तो उसका फ्रेंड ऐसे बोलता था कि तुझे ये भी नहीं पता, ये तो बहुत मामूली चीज है, ये तो पता होनी चाहिए। तो ऐसे ही टिप्पणी करते रहते थे उनके फ्रेंड्स, तुझे तो कुछ नहीं पता, तुम ये तो होना ही नहीं चाहिए, ये सब बेसिक बातें तो तुझे पता होनी चाहिए, ये क्यों नहीं पता तेरे को, ये सब उसका मजाक बनाते थे, उसकी ऐसे जोक मारते थे उस पे।
जानवी, आईआईटी बॉम्बे को कहना है कि इस केस में कुछ डिस्क्रिमिनेशन नहीं था, कोई कास्ट डिस्क्रिमिनेशन नहीं था, और ये गलत है ये बोलना, तो आपको क्या कहना है इसमें?
तो ये सुसाइड तो है ही नहीं, ये बात तो पक्की है, उन्होंने मर्डर कर दिया मेरे भाई का, ये बात तो एकदम 101% श्योर है कि उन्होंने मेरे भाई का मर्डर कर दिया है। कोई भी हो सकता है, स्टूडेंट हो सकता है या फिर सीनियर स्टूडेंट्स हो सकते हैं, कोई भी हो सकता है। मेरे भाई को पीछे माथे पे वार किया है और उसका मर्डर कर दिया गया। मेरे भाई का जब एडमिशन हुआ था नवंबर में, तो जब पहले की जो प्रोसेस होती है, ऑन बोर्डिंग होते हैं या फिर कोई भी पहले जो नए नए स्टूडेंट्स होते हैं उनके लिए सेशन रखे जाते हैं या फिर पेरेंट्स मीटिंग रखी जाती है। तो पेरेंट्स मीटिंग में ऐसा बोला गया था कि कोई भी जो SC ST से बिलोंग करता है या फिर निचली जाति से कोई बिलोंग करता है, तो उनको ये सब प्रॉब्लम नहीं आएगी, ये सब प्रॉब्लम फेस नहीं करनी पड़ेगी कि कोई उसको रैगिंग करता है या फिर SC ST के लिए वजह से वो लोग आगे नहीं आ पाएंगे, कि सभी स्टूडेंट्स को वो लोग इक्वली रखेंगे। तो ये बात तो लाइक चिंता मुक्त कर देते थे पेरेंट्स को कि अगर आपका बेटा SC ST से बिलोंग करता है तो इस बात का कंसर्न तो करना ही नहीं है आपको, कि क्योंकि हम सारे स्टूडेंट्स को इक्वली रखते हैं। SC ST में बिलोंग करता है तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, पढ़ सकता है, कोई रैगिंग नहीं होगी, कोई उसको परेशान नहीं करेगा। तो ऐसा यकीन पेरेंट्स को दिलाया जाता था कि SC ST अगर बिलोंग करते हैं तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं आएगी।
ऑल राइट, जानवी, शुक्रिया आप हमारे साथ जुड़े और आपने हमारे साथ बात की। वी आर वेरी वेरी सॉरी फॉर व्हाट टुक प्लेस एंड होपफुली वील एक्चुअली नो व्हाट ट्रिगर्ड दिस। दिस इज व्हाट द इंसिडेंट इन IIT Bombay was all about.
Overwhelming grief at the Ahmedabad home of Darshan Solanki, the 18-year-old student at IIT Bombay who allegedly jumped to his death from the 7th floor of his college hostel on Sunday. Family members say Darshan had told them that he felt humiliated and isolated after fellow students came to know that he belonged to a scheduled caste.
उसको टॉर्चर किया जा रहा था, वो परेशान बहुत हो गया, इसलिए
देखिए हिम्मत रखिए आप।
दर्शन में आया था तो मुझे मम्मी पापा को बताया था कि यहाँ पे ना जाति भेदभाव किया जाता है।
अच्छा, क्या बता था, क्या जाति भेदभाव उसके साथ में किया गया था?
लाइक उसके साथ ना उसके फ्रेंड्स को ये पता चला कि SC ST से बिलोंग करता है, तो उनको ना उनका बिहेवियर पूरा चेंज हो गया। लाइक उसके साथ कुछ बोला नहीं जाता था, लाइक उसके साथ कोई अच्छे से बात नहीं करता था, उसके साथ कोई अच्छे से रहता नहीं था।
વચમાં મહિના પહેલા આવ્યો ને ત્યારે એવું કહેતો હતો કે છે ને હું ફ્રીમાં ભણું છું ને અહીંયાના છોકરાઓને સારું લાગતું નથી, કે મારાથી જેલેસ થાય છે, કે હું કેમ ફ્રીમાં ભણું છું, અમે બધા પૈસા દઈને ભણીશું, તું કેમ ફ્રીમાં ભણેશ, કે છે મારાથી બહુ છોકરાઓ જેલેસ થાય છે, બસ એટલી વાત કરી તેણે। પહેલાં દોસ્તી કરે પછી બંધ કરી દે। પહેલાં આમ દોસ્તી થોડી સારી હતી, પછી બધાની દોસ્તીમાં ફેરફાર થઈ ગયો એમ।
IIT Bombay has not responded to the family's allegations but had issued a statement on Tuesday denying any caste discrimination on the campus. Investigation post his death by suicide has also not revealed any such trigger, they said. Union Minister Ramdas Attawale came to IIT Bombay on Wednesday and said Darshan had been upset over performing badly in his exams and had mentioned this to his father.
पुलिस ऑफिसर ने हमको बताया है कि भाई पिताजी से उनकी आधा घंटा पहले बात हुई थी और उन्होंने पिताजी को बोला था कि मुझे एक सब्जेक्ट ठीक नहीं गया है और उन्होंने बोला था कि चिंता मत करो, मैं मुंबई आ रहा हूँ, ऐसा पिताजी ने उनको बोला था। मैनेजमेंट का कहना है कि भाई हमारे पास कोई ऐसी कंप्लेंट आई नहीं थी और हम ध्यान देते हैं, लेकिन ऐसा हुआ ये अच्छी बात नहीं है।
After Darshan's death, students at IIT Bombay organized a candlelight march. A student group has alleged that students belonging to scheduled castes and tribes often face taunts and humiliation for allegedly being non-meritorious. They also said there was not adequate representation from scheduled castes among councillors and faculty.
After the statement from the family of Darshan Solanki, now questions are being raised over the statement released by IIT Bombay. The biggest question is, without even completing the inquiry, how did IIT Bombay even state that there is no caste discrimination in the campus? In Mumbai with Sunil Singh, Sood Mishra, NDTV.